Welcome to Chats with Rita and Nasreen, and to our series, How to Ask for a Raise so that you can get it. So we're talking about raises, and most people don't get raises simply because they deserve a raise or because somebody feels good enough or generous enough to give them a raise.
And don't think because you are doing a great job, going to work on time, spending a lot of time working, this means that you will get a raise. We are here to help you to get that raise. Our video one, tip one of today is share your goals with your boss and ask for a feedback. So Rita, before we start our tip, do you have anything or any advice to say to the viewers?
Yes, I have some advice. And the first thing that I would recommend is that you make sure that you have been in your job for at least 6 months. And actually, it might be better if it's a year, but at least 6 months. And the second thing that I would recommend is do not think about asking a raise unless you're really doing well in your job.
Okay.
Let me add that if you are not doing well, then what you should do probably is go and talk to your boss and ask your boss to give you some advice on how you can improve in how you're doing your job.
So let's pretend that I'm the employee and I spent a year in the company. I'm doing a good in terms of my tasks and job, and I'm mentally ready to talk to my boss in terms of to increase my raise. But I'm not well prepared. So how can I prepare what I'm going to say? The problem is I might not have the confidence to start this topic with him.
So there are 4 things that I'm going to be sharing with you that have to do with that preparation, the mental preparation that we're talking about. And the very first one of those that's very important is do not be pushy. Do not be aggressive. You need to walk in feeling confident about yourself. First, let him know that your current position is your priority and that you're committed to doing well, and you will continue to do that into the future.
I know that I'm doing my job very well, and I know my responsibilities and how I am evaluated, like the KPI that my boss should review every now and then to check my progress.
Yes, and that puts you in a good situation, because if you know that you're doing well, then you can go ahead and go and have this meeting with your boss.
Yeah. So what is the second thing I want him to know?
You want him to know that you are an ambitious person and you are looking for a future in the company.
Okay. How can I make sure that he sees that I'm serious of what I want to do?
Well, you have to give him some idea of what your goals are and what you plan to do, the kind of things that you're interested in for the future.
So this means that I have to know my goals and share it with him. What if I don't know what are my goals?
Right, okay. So what's important is to make sure that he gets the impression that you're serious about the fact that you want a career that's beyond where you are now, right? So go ahead and do some research, do some thinking about what kind of jobs would you like in the future, in what kind of areas. And if you're not very specific, then that's okay. You can say, I'm thinking about this or maybe this or that. But he needs to see that you've been thinking about it, that it's something important, and that it's something that you're prepared to do something about.
Okay. And what is the third thing?
Well, the third thing is to ask your boss for recommendations about 2 different aspects of things. For what you're doing right now, the job that you're doing, ask him, what can I do to improve? I know that I'm doing well, but I'd like to improve anyway. What you suggest that I do, that would be one. And the other part is to say, what do you think I could do to prepare myself for the next level job in the company?
Okay, and so what if he tells me give me time to think about it.
Right, okay, because what happens is he might not have the information that he needs, right? So that's okay. So what happens, what you should do is after the meeting, you go back and send him a nice thank you email. And in the email, you said, I would like a follow-up meeting with you so that you can give me some feedback and you'll have some time. And that you might, actually a good tip would be to say to him, here are the times I'm available for your convenience. Choose something that works with your schedule.
Okay. Another question.
Okay.
If he didn't answer.
Okay, if the protocol, right, office protocol.
Yeah.
If he doesn't answer, it might be that he just hasn't seen it, or maybe he's seen it, but he's not. So go ahead and send him a nice, polite reminder.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't answer, you're probably going to want to ask me that, right? What if he doesn't respond to that?
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. So if he doesn't respond, probably it's because he's not really willing to help you.
This was. Maybe you're reading my mind.
Yeah, probably.
So this was another question. There are some managers that they put some obstacles,
right,
and they do not help their subordinate or the employees to move forward.
Right.
So in this case, what am I going to do if I have a manager that he is not really willing to help?
Then I think you just have to ignore him. I mean, basically you should just go ahead and try to ask maybe other people that you know, colleagues. Say, what do you think I do well? What do you think I can improve in? Or if there are other people that you know that you trust, it's worth doing that.
Okay.
But you definitely don't want the manager to get in your way of your career,
yes,
right?
True, because it's really another question.
I know, I felt you were going to ask me another question. Okay.
Come up my mind. So, what if he is really a good manager,
right,
but he doesn't know how to give feedback?
Okay, there are some managers like that, by the way. They don't know how to do it, and they are worried about hurting your feelings, etc. So I think that what you could do is prepare some feedback questions that are very specific, and say, I have a rating of 1 to 5. 5 is the best. The one and can you give me an idea of where I am in these areas?
It's good. It's good the idea of the rating, because
right,
sometimes it not just ask him,
right,
you are good, you are good,
Right.
Okay.
So 3 being average, which
yes,
you don't want to be, right? You want to get yourself up to 4 or 5.
Yes,
so that would help him, give you back the feedback without putting too much stress on him. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, it's better for me to make a research online and find out the required skills that I need to develop to obtain the future job, in case my manager is not helping me, or in case the manager is not giving me the correct feedback. I don't want these 2 obstacles to stop me from pushing myself forward to get a raise or to get a higher level.
Yeah, I think
job.
that's exactly right. You're not going to let the behavior of your manager interfere with what you're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, the career is part of, you have to control how you get to your career and what you do to get there.
Okay.
So basically that works pretty well. Mm-hmm. Okay. Nasreen, so why don't you recap the main points, the 3 main points that are part of this video?
Yeah, okay. So I wrote them in this case. Let me recap the 3 points that we've discussed in tip number 1. 1. Let your boss know that your priority is to excel in your current position. 2. Tell him that your long term is to advance in your career. 3. Tell him that you want his recommendation on how to improve in your current job and what you can do to position yourself for the next one.
Bravo. Great.
Thank you.
And the bottom line is that if you're able to take the feedback that you get from your boss and implement it into the work that you do on a daily basis, and also research how you're going to evolve into that future job, then basically you have it made, because you're going to be able to ask for that raise when the time comes, and we're going to prepare you for that.
So that was tip number 1. Share your goals with your boss and ask for feedback.
And I want to thank you for joining us at Chats with Rita and Nasreen on this video series that is called How to Ask for a Raise so that you can get it. And I want to ask you to subscribe to our social media channels on YouTube, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn.